Coming in a little late tonight, but I definitely appreciate you being out there. Please subscribe to my podcast wherever you go to get your podcast. Like, share, and subscribe. The Salem Podcast Network, Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, all things social media at Carl Jackson Show, at The Carl Jackson Show. Guys, let me get straight to the nitty gritty. Um, Basically, what we have leading into 2026 and is it's going to be Trump and Republicans versus crazy commies 2026. That's it. Trump and Republicans versus crazy commies 2026. That's what we have to look forward to. And I got to be honest with you, I hate being in a position where I have to um, just I'm not all in for Republicans all the time. I'm a conservative. I am a registered Republican, but if I could be registered as a conservative, that's in the state of Florida. As a matter of fact, that's what I would be because Republicans are oftentimes weak. In fact, they don't do the tough things, they don't do the hard things. And for those of you that listen to my podcast the other day, I believe that's why the State of the Union address, even though it put Democrats on blast, I think it also put Republicans on blast essentially and challenged Republicans. But some Republicans are stepping up to the plate, including Vice President J.D. Vance, and we will get into that momentarily. There's several things that I'm going to be talking about tonight. How J.D. Vance is halting Medicaid funding to Minnesota. You had Hillary Clinton that testified today in front of the House Oversight Committee regarding the Epstein probe. And unfortunately, Representative Lauren Boebert shot out a picture of Hillary Clinton to Benny Johnson, and so that hearing was at least temporarily paused. But from what I understand, from what I've read, Hillary Clinton still gave 6 hours of testimony. Let me just say this to Lauren Boebert. I think she's been a decent congresswoman. Obviously, there's been some issues with her in the past. Let's not do stupid. Let's not give the Democrats any. Let's not give the Democrats any fodder. We don't need it. I wasn't even sure if it was a good idea to bring Hillary Clinton to the Hill. Frankly, this year I feel like this is if this was going to happen, this is something, in my opinion, that should have happened last year. Not necessarily in the election year, but at least James Comer, Representative James Comer of Kentucky, was able to make sure that it was behind closed doors, so to speak, because my concern was that Hillary Clinton would be able and Democrats would be able to make some ads against Republicans. They're not able to do that with these closed door hearings, interviews, or what have you. But Lauren Boebert sending pictures to Benny Johnson, just not smart. So please knock it off. Don't do stuff like that. President Trump had an amazing week with the State of the Union address. We don't need any distractions from that. Also, Iran. I mean, obviously things are hot with Iran. We will have to see where things go with that. I suspect that this weekend or perhaps upcoming weeks are going to be very interesting with Iran. So we will keep you posted on that. The Biden campaign, they're at it again. They spied on Kash Patel and Susie Wiles during the 2024 campaign season while they were still private citizens. We will get into that as well. So, and the Save America Act. I want to talk about that. So let me go ahead and start here. The Save America Act. Again, guys, it's as simple as this. If if elections aren't free, if elections aren't fair, nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. I believe what President Trump was able to do so brilliantly this week is to put the Democrats on blast, expose them for who they are. He was talking about policy positions on that stage, and they were just hateful of him. They can't stand him. You may not be able to stand him. I don't know, but frankly, I don't care. We're looking at a point where we're trying to save the country. We're trying to save, in my opinion, the Bill of Rights. That's first and foremost for me as a Christian, as a believer. I want to make sure that I have the right as a Christian to be able to share my faith, to be able to be able to speak my mind. I think that is our first and fundamental weapon against a tyrannical government. Obviously, the Second Amendment backs that up, if you will. And so these are these are very, very important to me. The Bill of Rights are very important to me. But there was an article from PJ Media, and I'm glad that it broke. I'm glad that it's happening. But apparently, Senator Majority Thune has confirmed that he will be forcing a vote on the critical election integrity legislation, making Democrats go on the record opposing the most basic measures to prevent fraud, and that's election integrity. Guys, listen, everybody has an ID. Virtually everybody has an ID. Honestly, I would guess that most homeless people have voter ID. I've had in my landscape business, I have had people that are I mean, let's say the nice people, but the bottom rung sometimes of society, they all had ID. This idea that blacks or minorities of any ethnicity won't necessarily have ID is just laughable. It's insane. It's bigoted. It's racist. Anybody can go to a DMV or whatever it is and go get your photo ID. It is not a big deal, and the left knows this. They want illegals to vote. All right, so this is a big deal in my opinion. So obviously, after the State of the Union, and I told you this, that I thought that this would be a challenge. Trump's speech was a challenge to Republicans as well. Senator Thune decided that they're going to force the vote in the House for the Save America Act. And listen, all we're doing is asking states to make sure that people have voter ID when they register in their states. And then when they come to vote, they have to verify that they have ID as well. You can't be like the state of California, where literally you're not allowed to show ID. You can walk in there, you can mail in these mail-in ballots. You do not have to have proof of ID. That is just obviously that just opens the door for fraud. It's absolutely insane. So again, Thune said that he's gonna put the Democrats on record. There is some concern as to whether or not the Senate can get past the threshold. But guys, this is an 84 Gallup poll found that 84% of Americans supported requiring voter ID, photo ID to vote. I mean, this makes total sense. Everybody knows with a modicum of common sense, if you take it to the American people, listen, we don't want to have any whether whatever you think of 2020, we don't want to have any questions. Whatever you think of 2000 with George W. Bush, we don't want to have any, we don't want to have any questions. Whatever you thought of, 2024, we don't want any questions in our federal elections. So let's make sure that they are full of integrity, and let's make sure that we have voter ID. So again, they have to pass the threshold of 50 votes. It looks like I hope they're going to be able to get it. They're going to have to force basically Democrats to get on the floor and talk to. They cannot talk anymore. But this is worth doing because we won't be able to get anything done. Guys, you think about the rule of law, and I'll show you some video here. Whether you're talking about the rule of law, whether you're talking about the economy, look at what the left did to us when it came to free speech issues during the COVID lockdowns, over taxation. Look at Mam Danny in New York City wanting to paying people to shovel snow when they're already paying taxes up the yin yang. You don't want open borders. We want a strong military. Trump highlighted our military heroes at the State of the Union earlier this week. His energy policies are phenomenal. We're getting rid of the Green New Scam, making energy more affordable for everyone. But not only that, energy drives the world. Energy drives life. Energy drives prosperity. Helps grow food, energy, and I'm speaking of fossil fuels. All of this stuff is threatened by um if determined dependent upon if Democrats get in office in 2026. So we cannot let them do that. Gabe, if we have enough time, this is something that happened. I think is very. I am so happy to hear this. President Trump said that he was launching a war on fraud. Vice President J.D. Vance was going to be heading it up, and I got to admit, I was like, we don't already have that going on, but they have gotten right to it. If we have okay, so we may not have time to play the clips in this segment, but when we get back in just a minute, I'm going to go through some of these clips because it is so important. Dr. Oz said that if Minnesota fails to clean up the systems, the state will rack up $1 billion of deferred payments this year. You got VP Vance saying that we have decided to temporarily halt certain amounts of Medicaid funding. Guys, this is extremely important. You want the dollar, your dollar to go further. I believe getting rid of fraud will do that. I suspect that if we got rid of the fraud that exists within the federal government, within these big bureaucracies, with that exist within these entitlements, I would make a guess that the dollar would skyrocket because I guarantee you there is so much fraud going on. It is absolutely insane. So we are talking about Trump and Republicans versus the crazy commies in 2026. Guys, we have got to win in 2026. I know this will set a precedent. This will be historic. We need this to be an historic election for Republicans. We'll be back. Okay. Okay. Hey, good to see you too. Hey, Chris, man, good to see you. Man, glad you're out there. Tell your family I said hello. Yeah, I know. I actually I grew up with this Chris back in LA. I'm pretty sure that's the okay, let's get right back to it. Again, you are listening to the Carl Jackson Show, and please subscribe to the podcast. Share the podcast with your friends. Like, share, and subscribe. Por favor. We would certainly appreciate that wherever you go to get your podcast. Again, Salem Podcast Network, Apple, Google, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, you name it. All things social media at Carl Jackson Show, at the Carl Jackson Show, is where you can go to find me. Okay, Gabe, let's get back to this, and I'm gonna make the case um, for Trump versus crazy commies. So you know what? Let's do this. Let's start with cut number six. Let's come in with cut number six. I didn't get to play that the other night, but I really love this moment at the State of the Union. Yes. 1.6. I'm sorry. 1.6. 6.1. Hopefully, I'll get that down. Oh, man. All right.
Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, 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 you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in. Go ahead. That's the first time I've ever seen them get up. And actually, not all of them did get up.
Okay, we can cut that. Okay, so that was perfect. Now I just wanted you to reminisce and remember that feeling that you had. It was absolutely amazing. Democrats had to stand up. They would have looked really bad. Obviously, you have the left wing radicals and the mainstream media going after the U.S. hockey team. They're starting to go after the U.S. women's hockey team. And by the way, I'm a bigger fan now of the U.S. women's hockey team. Than I am the WNBA. So that makes 11 female sports that now that I like better. I had a list that I like better than the WNBA. They had an opportunity to rise to the occasion with Caitlin Clark, and they totally bombed. So I'm not going to give them another chance. I'm just done with them. All right. So but anyway, just recall that feeling. Now, I'm going to take you through a gamut of videos that I want you to see because we can either have this feeling in November, a feeling of, oh my, just total elation when it comes to American pride, people that love our country, people that want to see the United States succeed. Or if Democrats get back in office, let me just give you a taste of some of the things that you might deal with. And I'm going to kind of go down the list here. Here it is. Let's go to cut number 14. Mayor Mam Dami again says he wants no charges on the mob pelting police. So you guys may have seen the video earlier in the week. I neglected to show it, but this is the aftermath of it. Cut number 14, please. Cut number 14.1.
Do you think that I don't understand foreign policy?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Because
Wrong video. That's totally my fault. Cut number 14.1. Cut number 14.1. Mayor Mamdani. I have two cut sheets in front of me, guys. So forgive me. Gabe probably wants to punch me in the face. Cut 14.1. Do we have that? Okay. I'll wait until that comes up. Gabe, just play it once you have it. But basically, let me just explain what happened. So you had some New York City police, the New York Police Department, some of our finest, if you will, being pelted by snowballs in New York City. And okay, let's go ahead and play that video. My apologies.
Said what I saw was a snowball fight. It should be treated accordingly. It was one that got out of hand, but that's what it was. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So, Mr. Mayor, are you willing to revise your statement regarding the snowball fight, given that this was not exactly a friendly back and forth snowball fight? The police that were there were not throwing any snowballs. They were getting pelted themselves. And number two, have you considered or would you consider banning these crowdsourcing events because they can and sometimes do get out of hand?
So I'm not going to be banning snowball fights or organized snowball fights.
Okay. Listen, I'm telling you guys, once that snow melts, New York City is in danger. If you haven't seen the video, maybe I'll go back and try to find the video of the police officers that are being pelted. Guys, if you do not have a rule of law, you do not have the United States of America. I know the left likes to gallivant around and call Trump an authoritarian, call him a tyrant. But Trump likes the Second Amendment. The guy is trying to make life more affordable by cutting taxes. The guy is trying to seal up the border. That's going to help with crime. That's going to help with the cost of living inside of the United States of America. The guy allows people. Look at what happened to him at the State of the Union with Representative. I hate calling her that. Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, just yelling at the guy. Look at all these people going on talk shows and just speaking out against him. If Trump was a dictator, they wouldn't be able to do that. So the left is counting on your ignorance. They want to be able to brainwash you and say that the man is an authoritarian or he's a tyrant. That isn't the case. You can look at the nation of Iran right now, where literally there's some estimates. Some people say 30,000. I've heard estimates as high as 100,000 protesters, peaceful protesters that want the regime out, the Ayatollah out, have been slaughtered there. And they were literally making them, if they wanted to come and get the bodies of their family members, making them pay for the bodies, making them pay for the bullets that were used on their family members. And some of the survivors that were in the hospital were killed as well. That's authoritarianism. What you have in the United States is not authoritarianism, and it's just insane that the left would continue to say that. But that's what they're banking on. They're banking on winning with low information votes and low information voters. They want you to hate President Trump so that you ignore his policy. You had more Epstein stuff come out today. Obviously, you had the probe I mentioned earlier with Hillary Clinton on the Hill. Lauren Boebert, Benny Johnson screwed that up a little bit. I think they were able to rein that in, but that was just utter stupidity. Everybody is forgetting that, conveniently forgetting that you had the president, Donald Trump, not president then, obviously, basically called the cops on Epstein and say this guy needs to be investigated. And now allegedly there's missing pages from the Epstein files where Trump allegedly did something to some underage girl. Everybody knows it's a lie. Everybody knows that it's a matter of convenience. Hillary Clinton testifying on the Hill, Bill Clinton to testify on the Hill tomorrow. Of course, that story will come out. Everybody knows there's nothing to it. The left knows that there's nothing to it. If there was anything to that, the Biden administration would have used that against Trump, but they knew that it wasn't. Just totally insane. Here's more of here's Steven Crowder talking about how the woke mob ruined a Christian business. If we could go to cut 9.1, cut 9.1, Gabe talks about how the woke mob ruined a Christian business. We're not wanting to bake a gay cake, but you know what's happening in Dearborn, Michigan? Of course, they want to accept that. You have people coming to our country and not assimilating, but the people that are American citizens get dragged into court in left wing territory, if you will. 9.1, Gabe. 9.1.
What do you think would happen if we went into a Muslim bakery and asked for a gay wedding cake? No need to wonder, we did it for you. What's really important is getting the picture and the writing. So it's going to be me and Benny. Well, you have pictures there.
No, on the machine, you have in the Kroger kitchen.
In Kroger?
Yeah,
Like the grocery store?
no.
Where you would tell me to go somewhere across the street. And I wanted to say Ben and Steven forever on the top. And then on the bottom it'll say same-sex legal now, congratulations. But everyone keeps sending me somewhere else. They said this is what you do here.
No, I don't want it.
We can cut it.
Okay, well, let's even say
You get the point. You know the Christian. Actually, there were a couple of Christian bakers. Maybe one was a florist, but I believe there were two bakers in the state of Colorado that were absolutely pilloried by the left and persecuted. Their businesses basically shut down because the left keeps taking them to court because they said, "Listen, we don't bake cakes for homosexual marriages or gay marriages or whatever you want to call it, but we'll be happy to bake any other type of cake, but we won't celebrate a marriage." And because of that, the left pilloried them, tried their best to destroy their businesses. I think they succeeded by taking these people to court so many times. It's been utterly insane. But this is what's happening in America. We're losing America. I know that people are concerned about the economy, and you should be. But guys, let's not forget that Trump did, whether you like him or not, he absolutely inherited a mess. And it's going to take a minute to clean it up. We'll be back. This is the Carl Jackson Show. Hey, thank you for tuning in. Again, just a reminder, please like, share, and subscribe this podcast. The Carl Jackson Show, wherever you go to get your podcasts. Again, Salem Podcast Network, YouTube, Rumble, you name it, Apple, Spotify. We would certainly appreciate that. All things social media, at Carl Jackson Show, at the Carl Jackson Show. Okay, I can check out the messages real quick here. Hey, thank you. Appreciate it, Chris. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for being out there. So good to hear from you. That is cool. Stick together for 2026 elections. Yeah. I think that's a fair point. I think conservatives just need to get out and vote. Frankly, if we get out to vote, we will win. Why conservatives aren't motivated, I know. I think hopefully the State of the Union will set a tone, but it is time to get out there and vote. There's no doubt about it. And we will need to. I guess you're right. I guess we need to stick together or we're going to hang together. And that might be literally because these cats on the left are crazy. All right. Any more here, Gabe? Thank you so much. Nicholas, appreciate you being out there, man. I appreciate your support. Appreciate your kind words. Yeah, I know. I do too. He totally exposed them. He totally exposed them. So I hope that people will. I hope that Republicans will build on that because he exposed the left, but I think he also exposed some feckless Republicans that need to get their act together. And speaking of that, I think we'll yeah, let's go ahead and get back to the Save America Act here. So let's go ahead and roll it, Gabe. Oh, I'm sorry. You can just start the show. My bad. My bad. Ooh, that's a good one. Let me think on it. All right. Okay. Okay, welcome back to the program. Again, you're listening to the Carl Jackson Show, your daily dose of freedom. And thanks to Gabe, we put plenty of videos out throughout the week. We record a couple of times, 3 times a week, and just throw out the podcast so you can check them out anytime you want at the Carl Jackson Show. Like, share, and please subscribe. Let's go to cut number 3.1 because this is one of the things President Trump mentioned, excuse me, at the State of the Union. I wasn't sure how this would go. I was a little upset to hear that he was launching JD Vance was going to be in charge of the war on fraud. And I'm like, we couldn't get this going a year ago, but they are working expeditiously. Absolutely love it. Cut number 4. Actually, I'm sorry, cut 3.1. Cut 3.1.
We did what any honest and patient-focused agency would do. We have notified the state and that we will give them the money, but we're going to hold it and only release it after they propose and act on a comprehensive corrective action plan to solve the problem. If Minnesota fails to clean up the systems, the state will rack up $1 billion of deferred payments this year. Governor Walz has 60 days, sir, to respond to our letter. And if providers and beneficiaries are worried about getting their money and services, please call your governor. These are services the governor has already paid for. We are just not reimbursing the state. And to make it clear, there is a rainy day fund in Minnesota, so we are very confident that people will not be hurt in Minnesota. This is not a problem with the people of Minnesota. It's a problem with the leadership of Minnesota and other states who do not take Medicaid preservation seriously. Any delay in services is going to be should be laid at the seat of Governor Walz. I believe he will take this seriously. They're not the only state that's floundering. We have more announcements with other states coming soon.
All right, cut number 4.1. And this is a good thing. This is what we need to see. We need to see accountability. If you want the strength of your dollar to grow, this is one way to help it grow. Quite frankly, you shouldn't be busting your butt, going to work, blood, sweat, and tears, all that kind of good stuff. Maybe you're trying to retire and you got a bunch of people in Minnesota milking the system. And then you have a governor and an attorney general and the Mayor Fry of Minneapolis that are just allowing it to occur because, in my opinion, what's likely happening, and actually we know this given the information and the tape that exists of AG Keith Ellison essentially accepting a bribe. Hey, man, I can make this go away if you hook up my campaign coffers. So let's go to cut number 4.1. This is VP Vance on the same issue.
We're announcing today that we have decided to temporarily halt certain amounts of Medicaid funding that are going to the state of Minnesota in order to ensure that the state of Minnesota takes its obligations seriously to be good stewards of the American people's tax money. Now, what is this going to mean? What this means is that, first of all, the providers on the ground in Minnesota have actually already been paid. The state has paid those providers the money. What we're doing is we are stopping the federal payments that will go to the state government until the state government takes its obligations seriously to stop the fraud that's being perpetrated against the American taxpayer.
Okay, so now let's go straight to cut number 5, 5.1. But let me just preface this video real quickly. The Walsh administration has admitted that rioters, that the rioters were using Minnesota's paid family medical leave to go out there and harass ICE agents. Cut 5.1.
One question I do have, we've had some federal agents in the state recently. We've seen video, we've seen video, we've seen statements and interviews, but we've seen how there's been chemical munitions used on some folks that have been out exercising their First Amendment rights, and we know that those cause harm and damage. So my question to you, and I know you may not have the answer to this right now, and it may be a lag in it, but have you seen any of that in terms of applications that are coming out, those types of actions being the reason for folks needing to access this program?
Commissioner. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for the question, Representative Frazier. And I'll maybe ask Director Norfleet just to provide a couple brief details, but the short answer to your question is yes. As would any circumstance that causes injury or harm to the public, I think we have seen applications that have been tied to some of the violence that we saw in the as a result of Operation Metro Surge. I think we, as you would expect, if people have suffered serious injury, I guess it's not unexpected. It's certainly, it's sad. But that is, I think, one benefit of having this program is that people who have been seriously injured now have the ability to receive, take time to care. And I don't know if there's any additional details you might provide.
They were getting paid family medical leave, some of these people. Paid family medical leave to go out there and harass ICE agents, to go out there and harass law enforcement, harass law enforcement officers. This is insane. Lastly, just to wrap up this particular issue, Governor Tim Walz says that you can trust him on this issue when it comes to the fraud. Let's go to cut number 7.1. Cut number 7.1. After basically Vice President J.D. Vance called him out. 7.1.
I don't know why this is so hard to understand, and I will continue to say this. You can trust me on this. The person who's angriest about this fraud is me. There is certainly no political upside to having fraud in your state, and it undermines the very program that I have spent a lifetime advocating for and trying to implement, and we have got criminals.
You do realize that fraud in Minnesota and Minneapolis has gotten worse under his tenure, specifically after the COVID-19 lockdowns. I mean, fraud exploded. It was already bad, and then it exploded under his tenure. That state went from having a surplus to being wildly in debt under the leadership of Governor Tim Walz. There is no way, in my opinion, that he did not know about the corruption that was going on. I want to take you to another video. I'm not sure that we have. Let's go to 10.1 because I want to remind you of you have Democrats that have literally committed fraud. You have Democrats that refuse to stand for war heroes that entered into the State of the Union. Irina Zarutska's mother, the young lady, beautiful young Ukrainian whose throat was slashed on the Charlotte, North Carolina train. You had Charlie Kirk's widow, Erica Kirk. They wouldn't stand for her. You had a woman who lost her daughter to an illegal alien. They would not stand for her. The young girl, Delilah, hopefully Delilah's law will pass, where an illegal alien that was in the country hit her or hit the vehicle that she was in with her family. They wouldn't stand for that. This is the Democrat Party. They won't take responsibility for the fact that they gave us Biden inflation, the highest numbers of inflation in decades we got under the Biden administration. Absolutely insane. Mortgage rates skyrocketed. The COVID lockdowns. Just remember how hard it was to find things in the stores and on shelves due to Biden's lockdowns, COVID lockdowns that were totally unnecessary. And now you have this 10.1. I want to remind you of the violence that has ensued. It's always the left always tries to project onto the right what they're doing. Cut 10.1. Cut 10.1.
So fair warning, this one's a little graphic. You ready? This video was reportedly taken at Lucille Umbarger Middle School in Burlington, Washington, showing a 13-year-old girl being beaten in the head after two other girls asked her if she supported ICE, and she refused to answer the question. Then the video of it was put on social media and passed around the school. Now, the victim said it started because her boyfriend posted on social media that he might want to become an ICE officer one day. And it's fascinating to me that we will get 1,000,001 national stories about a woman getting yanked out of her car for obstructing an ICE operation, and we will get crickets about this. And can I just point out that these kids are responsible for their own actions and they should be treated like it, but this is a middle school. Middle school kids don't beat each other over government policies unless their parents and their teachers have convinced them that that's the right response. This is what happens when you tell kids to go march in the street and take up arms because they're fighting Nazis, that the Gestapo is coming after them, that anyone who disagrees with you is a fascist. They're kids. They believe you. And we've watched them violently assault multiple people over this because the left has convinced them that that's okay and that they should. This is sick. These kids are sick.
We can cut it there. You get the message. The left is they're a party of violence. They don't have solutions. I want you to listen to Chuck U. Schumer. I want you to listen to Hakeem Jeffries. Whenever they speak out about Trump, it is always about the man. He's this, he's that, and it's a personality thing. They don't like him. He's this. He's an authoritarian. They can never speak to policy because everyone lived under their policy for the last 4 years prior to Trump, and everybody agrees that it stunk. Their policy stunk so much so that they were willing to re-elect Donald Trump. Even people that couldn't stand him said, we can't stand this Democrat Party anymore. And so this is something you have to understand. I don't know if we have time for cut 8.1, but if we don't, there was a Maryland sheriff, a guy by the name of Michael Lewis of I can't even pronounce this, Miko County. He erupts on state Democrats trying to ban police from working with ICE. What is the fact that Democrats don't want to get criminals? Listen, you want people to go out and make more money, make sure their communities are safe. You want people to live the American dream, make sure that their communities are safe. It starts with crime. But guys, this is why I say, listen, we're up against commies in 2026, and we got to make sure that we win in 2026. The Save America Act is absolutely crucial. I would say continue to call your senators and make sure that the Senate passes the Save America Act. Guys, if elections aren't free, then this nation is done. If the elections aren't free of integrity, this nation is done. Until next time, don't grow weary doing good. I appreciate all you guys tuning in. God bless you.